Hello and welcome to Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let us take a look at the headlines first. Fourth satellite of the Regional Navigation System series to be launched in March. Tiger population of the country estimated to have increased by 30%. Researchers of IIT Madras develop an environment-friendly and low-cost building system. Missing for 11 years, European Space Agency's spacecraft Beagle 2 found on Mars. And in today's In Focus, we will discuss about the interesting journey of migratory birds. And now news in details. The country is getting ready for the launch of the fourth satellite of the Regional Satellite Navigation System in the month of March. The Indian Regional Navigation System, shortly known as IRNSS, is India's indigenous satellite navigation system consisting of 7 satellites, of which 3 have already been successfully launched.
Soon after the successful launch of IRNSS-1C, researchers of the Indian Space Research Organisation are gearing up to launch IRNSS-1D, the fourth satellite in the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, popularly known as IRNSS. According to the reports, the launch is expected to happen in March this year. IRNSS-1D is planned to be launched using a PSLV C-27 rocket. According to reports, the cryogenic propulsion systems on board PSLV C-27 rocket are being developed by scientists of the ISRO Propulsion Complex at Mahendragiri in Tirunelveli district. The Mahendragiri complex is also developing the second and fourth liquid stages needed for the launch vehicle. IRNSS-1D is the fourth out of 7 in the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, that is, IRNSS series of satellites after IRNSS-1A, 1B and 1C. The Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, shortly known as IRNSS, is India's indigenous satellite system and has been developed by ISRO.
According to the latest estimates, there has been an increase in the number of tigers in the country. Now, statistics gathered last year shows that there has been a 30% increase in the tiger population. While the number of tigers in the country were 1,706 in 2010, it has increased to 2,226 in 2014. Here is a report.
In an encouraging report in terms of biodiversity conservation in the country, Shri Prakash Javadekar, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, has declared that initiatives to streamline tiger conservation, along with effective forest management and community participation, has led to an increase in the number of tigers. The declaration was made during the inauguration of the 2-day meeting of the Chief Wildlife Wardens of Tiger States and Field Directors of Tiger Reserves. According to the latest estimates, the consolidated and focused efforts of all stakeholders had helped enhance the number of tigers in the country from 1,706 in 2010 to 2,226.
Our latest estimate today is that India has 70% of the world's tiger population, and we have now 2,226 tigers presently in 47 tiger reserves, and this is a great achievement. It's a net increase of 30% over the last estimation.
The number has been estimated under the third round of country-level tiger assessment, employing refined technology of double sampling using camera traps, which showed that 30.5% increase in tiger population from 2010. A total of 378,118 square kilometers of forest area in 18 tiger states was surveyed, with a total of 1,540 unique tiger photo captures. As per the survey, tiger population has increased in Karnataka, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. While Karnataka tops the chart with 406 tigers, Uttarakhand stands second in tiger population with 340 tigers. it was seen that in Uttarakhand, the number of tigers had risen from 227 to 340 since the last census. The third round of independent management effectiveness evaluation of tiger reserves has shown an overall improvement in the score of 43 tiger reserves from 65% in 2010-11 to 69% in 2014. This evaluation has provided qualitative and quantitative estimates of benefits accruing from tiger reserves, including ecological, economic, social and cultural services. The assessment of forest cover change in tiger landscape of Shivalik Gangetic Plain has indicated an improvement of forest cover in core areas of tiger reserves. The minister on this occasion also released various reports on the status of tiger population in India.
A research team of Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, has developed an eco-friendly, low-cost building system using prefabricated panels. The building system using prefabricated materials are not only easy to make, consuming very little time, but it is also stronger compared to the existing prefabricated buildings. Take a look.
The 21st century, needless to say, is characterized by socio-economic revolution brought about by novel technologies and new materials. While the perpetually evolving technologies have acted as a channel for economic growth, crucially influencing and transforming people, it has also created a huge concern with regard to efficient use of resources. Now, taking a step towards efficient and sustainable buildings, a team of researchers from the Indian Institute of Technology Madras's Civil Engineering Department have developed an environmentally friendly building system. The novel low-cost building system has been made using prefabricated panels made from waste generated by fertilizer industry, gypsum and glass fibers.
You have a very hollow panel, what is called a glass fiber reinforced gypsum wall panels. They're hollow and they're very light. It weighs only 43 kg per square meter. Very light, and comparatively, if it is a precast thing, it will be 5-6 times things like. So we looked at that particular technology.
The building based on technology called Glass Fiber Reinforced Gypsum or GFRG has been erected at the IIT Madras campus. The low-cost building has been constructed in a mere span of 1 month, much less time than that required to build a conventional structure. The GFRG based housing is highly cost effective as it doesn't require plastering and needs very little of building materials like cement, mortar, sand and steel. The technology also allows for building up to 8 stories without using any beams or columns. GFRG technology provides good quality, rapid, sustainable and affordable mass housing. The cost of construction is as low as Rs 1,250 a square foot. The researchers have reprocessed this gypsum to create gypsum plaster, which forms the raw material for GFRG panel. The panels have been manufactured at RCF Mumbai and FACT Cochin in a collaborative manner. Researchers have worked for 10 years to come up with this technology. This green, cost-effective and rapid technology is expected to help overcome the formidable challenge of affordable housing in the country.
According to a recent report by the World Health Organization, 60% of the total mortality in India during 2014 was due to non-communicable diseases. According to the report, the probability of death between 30 and 70 years from 4 main non-communicable diseases, namely heart, cancer, diabetes and respiratory diseases in India is 26%.
Communicable diseases are known to be a huge disease burden all over the world, especially in developing countries like India. However, a recent report by the World Health Organization states otherwise. According to the report, non-communicable diseases, shortly known as NCDs, pose a huge threat to the health of the Indian population, and 60% of the 9,816,000 deaths in India in 2014 was on account of NCDs. The report states that probability of death due to non-communicable diseases like heart, cancer, diabetes and respiratory diseases is 26% in individuals between 30 and 70 years in India. WHO noted that the highest number of deaths at 28% was attributed to communicable, maternal, perinatal and nutritional conditions, followed by cardiovascular diseases at 26%, chronic respiratory diseases at 13%, injuries at 12%, other NCDs at 12%, cancer at 7% and diabetes at 2%. According to the estimates, in Southeast Asia, the number of deaths on account of NCDs stands at 8.5 million. 2 of 3 deaths are caused by non-communicable diseases, and this number is expected to grow. WHO also says that a 30-year-old person living in the Southeast Asia region has 25% chances of dying from one of the 4 main NCDs before his or her 70th birthday. In order to reduce the incidence of NCDs, WHO has recommended banning all forms of tobacco and alcohol advertising, reducing salt consumption, replacing trans fats with polyunsaturated fats, promoting and protecting breastfeeding, early detection and treatment of high blood pressure, and preventing cervical cancer through periodic screening.
Years after being reported missing, the UK-based Beagle 2 spacecraft has been finally found on Mars. The spacecraft, which was launched on 2nd of June 2003, was due to land on Mars on 25th of December 2003, but had gone missing on 19th of December 2003. Nothing had been heard from it since then.
After 11 years of being considered lost by researchers around the world, the UK-led Beagle 2 Mars lander has finally been discovered on Mars. Beagle 2, which has been missing since 2003, has been found on the Martian surface by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which found Beagle 2, has also captured images that give clues to what happened to Beagle 2. The lander, along with other debris, has been discovered in the premises of an impact crater called Isidis Planitia near the Martian equator, which was the initial landing area for the probe. This, along with the images taken by Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, has led the researchers to confirm that Beagle 2 had indeed landed on Mars. Beagle 2 was a British spacecraft and a part of the European Space Agency's Mars Express mission. The spacecraft, named after the ship HMS Beagle, in which Charles Darwin travelled during his expeditions, which led to the theory of natural selection, was launched on June 2, 2003. It was built by British scientists for about £50 million. The spacecraft was designed to search for extraterrestrial life and detect the presence of life on Mars. However, the spacecraft that was due to land on Mars on 25th December 2003 went missing on December 19, 2003, and nothing had been heard from it since then. After many failed attempts to contact the spacecraft, the European Space Agency declared Beagle 2 as lost in February 2004. Now the images captured by high-rise instrument of the NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter shows that Beagle 2 was not lost in space but is resting on the surface of Mars. The orbiter has captured 3 sets of images that suggest that Beagle 2 successfully executed its atmospheric entry, descent and landing procedure, coming to rest gently on the surface of the red planet. Analysis of the images also suggests that the lander's drogue chute is still attached to the lifeless explorer and that the lander was able to open 1 to 3 of its 4 solar panels. Though the spacecraft can no longer be fixed, the discovery indeed has brought a sense of satisfaction and closure among the researchers and engineers involved in the project. The miniaturized technology that was used in Beagle 2 is considered a technological marvel, and researchers plan to use some of it for the ExoMars 2018 rover and other future space missions.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be right back. Keep watching Science Monitor. During the months of December and January, the country plays host to a variety of beautiful and exotic bird species. The birds are generally found flocking around the water bodies in the country. Now, these are those migratory birds which travel 1,000 miles annually to reach India and escape the native harsh winters. We will learn more about the exciting and interesting journeys of these migratory birds in today's In Focus segment.
The Indian subcontinent plays host to a number of exotic birds throughout the year. According to ecologists, every year over 100 species of migratory birds fly to India, especially during the winter months of December and January, either in search of feeding grounds or to escape the severe winter of their native habitat. These birds travel 1,000 miles annually following very specific routes to reach India. The exciting and interesting journeys of these birds form the phenomena called bird migration. The phenomena of bird migration has always interested researchers. More than 2,000 years ago, Aristotle was the one who probably first explained that some birds, like the cranes, migrate during autumn. Aristotle noted that cranes travel from the steppes of Scythia to the marshes of the headwater of the Nile. Nearly 40% of the bird species living in Europe and Asia are migratory birds, which means that in autumn, 3 to 4,000 million birds are leaving Eurasia for warmer places, while other birds arrive from cooler countries. Most migrating birds find the harsh winters of their native breeding grounds difficult to survive. Thus, birds primarily migrate in search of favorable climate as winter approaches. Sometimes, climatic changes also bring in scarcity of food. Under such conditions, birds migrate to locations with abundant supply of food. It is also observed that in some species, young birds stay at the non-breeding site for 1 or more years before returning to their birth region to breed. It is important to note that bird migration is a complex biological and ecological phenomenon. Hence, birds undergo elaborate preparation in order to migrate. Researchers across the world have been trying to answer this interesting question. It seems that birds are genetically programmed for migration. In fact, the length of the daytime and the temperature influence the bird's hormones and make them feel that it is time to leave. During the weeks prior to the migration, the birds usually stock energy by intaking more food and storing them as fat. Many birds also grow bigger flight muscles with the help of natural steroids, so they have extra power for the demanding flight. Birds also try to reduce their body weight by shrinkage of organs not needed on the flight, such as the gut, liver and kidneys. Migration carries high risk in terms of predation and mortality, including being hunted by humans, and hence proves the theory of survival of the fittest. There is great competition for food and other resources during the journey, and birds that run out of energy during a crossing will drop out of the sky. Birds have also developed a variety of ways to reduce the amount of energy they need for flight. Some species fly in formation, which reduces expended energy by around 20%. Some species increase their speed by flying at altitudes of around 1500 meters, where air is less dense than at the sea level. Many seabirds glide and use wind and wave pressure for dynamic soaring. This needs much less energy than flapping their wings. Soaring on rising thermals is possible for birds crossing hot continents, and many birds also make good use of tailwinds to reduce the amount of energy and time. India, due to its moderate climate and rich biodiversity, hosts many species of exotic birds both during summers and winters. Some of the migratory birds that come to India in winter season include greater flamingo, Siberian cranes, rough black-winged stilt, while some birds that come to India during summers are Asian quail, black-crowned night heron, Eurasian golden oriole, home duck, and cuckoos. While exotic migratory birds are a pleasant sight to the eyes, they also add to the biodiversity with many important ecological impacts. However, migratory birds often face threat in the form of human activities like hunting. Structures such as power lines, wind farms and offshore oil rigs have also known to affect migratory birds. Human activities that result in pollution, storms, wildfires and habitat destruction along migration routes also affect these birds. Hence, it is important that we take solid conservation measures to prevent the reduction in number of migratory birds across the world.
And what are the contributions of science to this week's history? We shall learn in our next segment, History of Science.
Famous Anglo-Irish chemist Robert Boyle was born on 25th January 1627. He is best remembered for Boyle's law, which describes the inversely proportional relationship between the absolute pressure and volume of a gas if the temperature is kept constant in a closed system. American physicist of German origin Polycarp Kusch was born on 26 January 1911. He accurately determined that the magnetic moment of the electron is greater than its theoretical value. In 1955, he was awarded with the Nobel Prize in Physics for the same determination. On 28 January 1925, the famous Indian scientist Raja Ramanna was born. He is known for his leadership in directing the Indian nuclear program. In 1974, India's first nuclear device was tested under his supervision at Pokhran, Rajasthan. He has held important positions like the Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy and Director General of Defense Research and Development Organization and made efforts to endow the country with sufficient nuclear energy. Renowned Canadian chemical engineer Louis Urey was born on 29 January 1927. He invented the alkaline battery and lithium battery to increase the capacity of an ordinary battery. For this, he used manganese oxide and zinc powder in an alkaline medium and produced the alkaline battery, which could last 40 times longer than the zinc-carbon battery. On 30th January 1899, the famous South African virologist Max Taylor was born. He developed a powerful vaccine against yellow fever at the time when West Africa was suffering severely from its epidemic. With the help of his vaccine, this disease was controlled and eradicated within a span of 7 years, and Max Taylor was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in the year 1951. American chemist Theodore William Richards was born on 31st January 1868. He discovered methods for determining the atomic weights for many chemical elements, which helped the scientists in their research of isotopes. For his contribution, Richards was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in the year 1914.
Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our segment Science Express.
India is fast becoming one of the largest users of mobiles in the world. This is according to the recently released Mobile Internet in India 2014 report compiled by Internet and Mobile Association of India and IMRB International. According to the report, there are 173 million mobile internet users in India in December 2014, and this number is expected to grow to 213 million by June this year. Subsequently, the number of mobile internet users have also increased in large numbers. The report states that average monthly mobile bill has increased by 13% to Rs 439 while compared to last year. The average monthly spent on mobile internet has gone up by 36% to reach Rs 235. Researchers of the US Space Agency NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have declared 2014 as Earth's hottest year on record. According to the reports, the soaring temperatures are the direct effect of excess emission of greenhouse gases by burning of fossil fuels. The studies show that record temperatures in 2014 were spread around the globe, including most of Europe, stretching from northern Africa, the western United States, far eastern Russia into western Alaska, parts of interior South America, parts of eastern and western coastal Australia, and elsewhere. The report also states that lethal effects of climate change are being observed across the globe in the form of extremes of heat and rainfall, disruption of food and water supplies, and rising sea levels. A 5-day symposium on transforming mountain forestry was recently conducted by the Dehradun-based Forest Research Institute and the Kathmandu Valley-based International Center for Integrated Mountain Development. The symposium aimed at creating conducive transboundary conditions politically and institutionally to protect the forest ecosystems in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. Addressing the inaugural session, the Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has called for increased transboundary cooperation to develop Himalayan region. Over 200 regional and global experts from countries around the world participated in the event. In the wake of harsh cold waves in the northern region of India, authorities of the Sanjay Gandhi Biological Park, Bihar, have assured that necessary steps have been taken to create required warmth for the animals and protect them from the harsh winter season. The special measures include provision for blowers and bamboo baskets and special food containing mahua and vitamin supplements to regulate body temperature. The United Nations Ebola chief Dr. David Nabarro has called for a final $1 billion to fight West Africa's deadly Ebola epidemic. So far, UN bodies have received around $1 billion in funds in order to tackle the infection. After major efforts by the experts, rate of infection is slowing down in these affected areas, and experts are moving to a new phase involving a massive detective operation to trace the remaining cases. Drug makers and research institutions are also working towards developing Ebola vaccines.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write in to us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific.